All right, let's go see what is happening in the world of RFK Jr. and President Donald J. Trump. Got a few good clips here to start out with from Kennedy 2024.
I'm going to make a confession because I know for most American families, they never have any differences with each other. So when that happens in a family, it's really huge news, like everywhere. People who are close to you are much more resistant to hearing truths from you. I'm in a 12-step program, and they say you can't 12-step your own family because there's so much baggage in relationships that you kind of have to let somebody else tell them the truth. I have a son who disagrees with me on vaccines, and I let him hold his own beliefs. I have to love him. The only thing that he can hear from me is, I love you. He can't hear the information that I give him. He can't hear. The worst thing that you can do if you're challenging a closely held orthodoxy is to assault them with facts because they don't want to hear it. It actually makes them more resistant. It makes them dig in. My family members, many of them just plain disagree with me on issues, and they are entitled to their beliefs, and I respect their opinions on them, and I love them back. Is it too much to hope that we could have the same thing for our country? We have a polarization in this country today that is so toxic. When I talk to both Republican friends and Democratic friends, they talk about this division in almost apocalyptical terms. One of the principal missions of my presidency is going to be to end that division. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now.
I do like the video. I think it's very good. And I like what I hear from RFK Jr. And I hope that a lot of people do too, regardless of what side you consider yourself on. Because we're all, in the end, we should all be on the same side for this country, for the greatest country ever. So that was a good one. There's another good one here too. Just another minute clip. And they go on a
We're
date
here in
night.
Santa Monica. Bobby's gonna go. Tell us what's the hardest thing about these rings.
Knowing when to stop. It's so fun.
Okay. You got this.
Nice.
It's a little bit easier when people aren't around. Okay, you got it, honey. You're almost there, baby. You got it. You got it. You got it. You're almost there. You got it. You got it. You're almost there. Dismount. Oh!
This is the playground for adults here.
We're walking. Oh, watch this.
Yeah, I'm gonna let go, okay? And you just breathe. Yeah.
Beautiful. You asked it.
Beautiful. I did it.
Good stuff there. Very good stuff. Just fun times. And you can see guy's in really, really good shape. Really good shape for his age too. But he's got to be in his 60s or so. But I mean, you can see no health issues there. You're not going to find them if you've seen the one with him working out. But I really like that one, hitting those rings. Oh, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work there. Those are some of the newest ones from Kennedy at Team Kennedy 24 on YouTube. That's where you can find them. So that's where you want to go to keep up with all of the latest, greatest videos with RFK Jr. as he heads to defeat Joe Biden and face off one-on-one against President Donald J. Trump. That's what we want to see. I think that's what the world wants. And we'll see if that will happen. For now, let's go and, speaking of Donald Trump, let's go look at what is happening on Truth Social, if anything. And there's always something going on here. You can see the top trending items. Another poll, always with the polls here. And I want to start seeing some polls between Trump and Kennedy. Still looking for that. Still looking forward to once we get there. I think we will get there. There's a nice little winery there. All right, it's just an image. Leave that a like. Virginia's leading boutique hotel at Trump Winery. Nice. I got to try some of his wine one of these days. This was posted about 3 hours ago. And Trump writes, looking forward to seeing you at Trump Bedminster, watching the greatest players in the world. Cam Smith is leading with Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Bubba Watson, and Charles Howell III following closely behind. Tee-off is at 1 p.m. Just got back from a great and successful trip to Iowa. I will be with you at Bedminster all day. Yeah, let's see if we can find some of those Iowa clips because I missed all of that yesterday. Farmers for Trump. Lots of great stuff here. It's got to be a clip or something for what happened yesterday. Okay. 81 million votes. There it is. That's all you need to know. Surprised there's not more clips, and maybe they'll be coming out here in the next day or two. But usually there's a ton of clips from Trump's latest, greatest speech, and I'm not seeing any here. There's something. What's this? So very nice warm reception for Mr. President. Here's another one.
Thank you very much. Oh, is there an autograph going? Thank you very much. Thank you. Who loves Trump? I do!
Signing hats. Okay. All right, signing more hats. I don't know if he does any. Was he speaking? Did he do a speak, or is it just him going around? Record crowd shows up for President Trump at Iowa State Fair. Very cool. It's a massive crowd. Reporters cheered and waved doing his way through the famous. Yeah, maybe he just doesn't look like he was speaking. Maybe just walking around there at the fair. That's hard to believe. All right. You can see just lots of clips of how much do people love him. What is this? The entire thing is an attempt to stop President Trump from running again. Let's play this.
Going on. This went into President Trump. A judge issued a protective order in the case looking into January 6th. The protective order is designed to protect evidence related to the case. It is designed to, again, protect, quote unquote, sensitive materials. Here's what the district judge, Tanya Chutkan, had to say. Mr. Trump, like every American, has a First Amendment right to free speech, but that right is not absolute. In a criminal case such as this one, the defendant's free speech is subject to the rules. So anything Trump may say when it comes to this case, not anything and everything, but anything and everything will come under her purview for her to look at and say whether or not it is a violation of this protective order.
Here's what President Trump had to say about this First Amendment case. Listen.
The case is a ridiculous case. It's a First Amendment case. But we don't want Trump to speak. So they want me, they take away your rights on First Amendment. Now they sue because, so now I have one of these lunatic reporters back there saying, sir, would like to talk to you about your case. Or, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Somehow that's not good for votes. Do you agree? When we say I can't talk, I will talk about it. I will. They're not taking away my First Amendment right.
Good
It's
for
kind of
him.
funny because a lot of politicians like to hide behind, I can't talk about it because but Donald Trump's the opposite. He's like, I want to talk about this. This is an injustice. And he sees what this judge is doing as election interference. And I think he's right. And by the way, we should look at this judge a little closely. If you look at some of the statements that she made in sentencing, which, by the way, she sentenced very harshly and went above and beyond what many people thought was just and fair in the cases of many of the January 6th defendants. She actually, in many of these cases, said, you know, these people are just too loyal to Donald Trump, and I can't believe he's still free. And that is the woman who is now in charge of this case. So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, if I understand this right, what she's basically said is, I think prosecutors are asking for basically a hush order. Like Trump can't talk about this at all in any way.
So as to not, in their theory, not intimidate witnesses.
Exactly. Trump's defense comes to the judge and says, listen, this is unique from any other case like it because this guy's running for president.
Yes.
His popularity among people matter. If the Justice Department can put out charges which are not proven, they're charges, not convictions. If they can put out charges that leak or paint a narrative, we should be able to push back on that.
Of course.
So the judge says you can, but there's certain pieces of evidence the prosecution's asked for you to not talk about, and I'm going to uphold that. So, you know, you can look at it as a mixed ruling, or you can look at it as her trying to find a way to uphold what might be a legitimate legal request by the prosecution, but also provide President Trump his ability to push back on some of these charges
it's kind of
in the
vague.
public sphere.
Because it's kind of vague. So you kind of don't know when you're stepping
You don't know
on
until
that.
you
So
do.
I said this last night with Jesse Waters. In a normal situation, what you would look at that and you say, yes, a criminal defendant can have their First Amendment rights limited. So in other words, you can't say whatever you want to say because it could impact a trial, and a criminal trial takes precedent. So in a normal situation, what her order would be expected. And then you would say, again, in a normal situation, well, that really reflects on the wisdom of the prosecutor who decides to bring this type of case in the middle of a presidential election. You'd say, why would they do that? Because it could, so clearly could interfere in a presidential election. But this isn't normal because it's Donald Trump. So you don't give them the benefit of the doubt that it's simply a lack of wisdom. It's actually something done with purpose.
Sure.
It's lawfare. It is designed to limit his speech. So it is designed to, by the prosecution side, by Jack Smith's side, to limit a presidential or to affect a presidential election.
Yeah.
This judge will have to look piece by piece. The illustration everybody's using is Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a potential witness. Mike Pence will say things on the campaign trail or in the course of this trial about January 6th. And according to this order, Donald Trump can't respond. Understood. He can't say something, for example, in that illustration. Now, he will. And it will be interesting to see what the judge does about that and how she attempts to enforce this protective order.
I think this is actually a really big deal in terms of election interference. And I think we've seen so many cases of election interference going all the way back to Russia hoax, really, because that affected the election. And then the Hunter Biden laptop suppression story, all of this stuff. I hope we're not becoming desensitized to all these things that are happening to our country that just aren't normal.
It really does add legitimacy to the argument that this entire thing is an attempt to stop President Trump from running again.
Of course.
All right, turning now to your headlines.
Oh, that is more election interference. That's what this is all about. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So that was good. That was a good one. Let me see if there's anything else here. And then I'm going to turn back to RFK and see what else he's got going on. So more of the same. What is this?
Fox News alert. The judge in Donald Trump's January 6th case just set a big trap for the former president. If you read the headlines, you'd believe that Judge Tanya Chutkan came out and ruled in Trump's favor on the state's proposed gag order, which would have completely barred him from discussing his case, documents, evidence, witnesses, the whole thing. Chutkan ruled that Trump is only barred from discussing sensitive information. Okay. Well, what constitutes sensitive information? Oh, nothing, just every single person interviewed by prosecutors. because they could be witnesses. Well, that's going to be a problem because Trump happens to be running a presidential campaign against Mike Pence. How is Trump going to debate Mike Pence if he can't talk about Mike Pence? Chutkan doesn't care. During the hearings today, she told Trump's attorneys this: the fact that he is running a political campaign currently has to yield to the administration of justice. And if that means he can't say exactly what he wants to say in a political speech, that is just going to how it's going to be have to. Adding that she'll be scrutinizing his statements very carefully. Do you really expect Trump to abide by these rules?
The case is a ridiculous case. It's a First Amendment case. But we don't want Trump to speak. So they take away your rights on First Amendment. Now they sue because so now I have one of these lunatic reporters back there saying, "Sir would like to talk to you about your case." Or, "I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about it." Somehow that's not good for votes. Do you agree? When we say I can't talk, I will talk about it. I will. They're not taking away my First Amendment right.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's at his best when he's riffing off the cuff, obviously, and this order is just another attempt to keep him from speaking freely. Biden's Justice Department's already trying to lock him up in a courtroom from January until May. And anytime he steps out onto the trail, there's going to be a whole bunch of booby traps out there waiting for him. And that's the goal. Will Cain's a Fox and Friends weekend co-host. So, Will, what do you think the chances are?
That's really interesting. So it's definitely heating up. And there's more on the Biden stuff. What do we got here? Taking Trump off of the trail. Another special counsel going on. So more election interference. And I think some people will just look at this and say, oh, there's so much baggage. The baggage with Trump, and they don't want to, this is all meant to interfere in the 2024 presidential election, no doubt. And even for the people that are, strong Trump supporters, it's going to be a test of strength to see how much they can take before they say, you know what, there's just too much baggage here. And I think that's why, RFK Jr. does stand out, because you look at how, all the videos about Trump, and Trump can't even go on any of these shows or anything, and look at his YouTube channel and how it's been banned and then brought back. And, it's just a big mess. They're going after him unlike they've gone after any president ever. It's just crazy. It is really, really crazy. These are terrible times for our country. None of this is good for our country. It's good for the deep state. It's good for the swamp. It's good for the status quo that wants to keep us in this same program. And here comes somebody with, Trump, who kind of broke people out of that programming and actually gave the people hope, not just talked about hope, but really gave the people real hope and started talking about real issues that this country cares about, the people in the country care about. And what they're doing to him is a big warning for other people that may want to do the same thing. And it's going to take some very brave people to stand up and say, and do what Trump did. And one of those people to do that is RFK Jr. And that is why a lot of people like me support him too. So let's look at what RFK Jr. says about a cult.
In his inaugural address, which I attended as a 7-year-old boy, my uncle John F. Kennedy urged Americans to
ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
On September 11th, I'm asking all of those who support my campaign to do their best to participate in a national day of service. At Team Kennedy, we believe that our campaign shouldn't be just about collecting donations and doing television advertising, but it should be part of a broader purpose to recommit our country to community service. So if you're a supporter of my campaign, I'm asking you to think of some way that you can do something to support your community on 9/11. It could be fixing a school or helping a neighbor or doing an environmental cleanup or beach cleanup or supporting some organization that helps out in your community. It could be distributing sandwiches or soup to needy people or reading to a child. And if you can't think of anything else, at least do some good deed or some kindness for a stranger. We all need to think of ways that we can reorient ourselves and start using our talents to repair the world and to heal the big divisions that are separating us. So once you decide how you're going to serve, or if you want to organize a project in your area, post about it on Kennedy24.com. Your neighbors and other people in your area will see your posting on our website, and they can sign up directly on our website to help. I want to use the momentum of this campaign right now, not some distant future, but right now to begin making a difference in our communities and to begin healing the divide.
Love it. It's beautiful. See if he posted a few new ones, but I'm scared to play them because the medical misinformation garbage. Here's a good one about the environment. This one is just 1 minute long.
So when I talk about these issues, I rarely talk about climate. I think we need to get rid of coal and oil, but I don't say we need to do that to save the climate because it's not convincing. Even if you say, tens of thousands of scientists agree with me, people today have a good reason to not believe scientific orthodoxies or pronouncements, right? We went through that in COVID where we were told, the established science that said this is all real, but it wasn't real and it isn't real. And showing somebody a graph and saying this is what's going to happen to you if you don't behave is not a good way to get good behavior. Both Republicans and Democrats, I found in 40 years, love the environment. They want to keep sacred places. They want to have healthy food. They don't want toxics for their children. They don't want to see 22-story machines cutting down the Appalachian Mountains. An area of the Appalachians the size of Delaware has been leveled. These are our Purple Mountains, Majesty, where Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett roamed. And we are industrializing these landscapes so nothing will ever grow on them again. We have poisoned every freshwater fish in North America from discharges of mercury from coal-burning power plants. Nobody wants that.
So you can see the contrast between the two candidates, and I think it's unfair to Trump because he's put on the defensive so much, and they're going after him, trying to censor him, that it all makes it seem like all he's doing is focusing on the negative. But I don't believe that is true, and I think if the censorship, if Trump was allowed to speak more and more freely on platforms like YouTube, like Facebook, he's free to speak on Twitter. He should be utilizing Twitter more, is what I think. But because of Truth Social, I get it. It's a competitor, and Trump is a businessman. In the end of all of this, that's where he is. He is a businessman. So he's always going to stick with Truth Social. I think once if he does ever post again on Twitter or X, I think it'll be a big, big deal. And I am looking forward to that. And I hope you are too. I hope everybody is looking forward to those days when we get back there. Because I wasn't a Twitter fan, so I didn't follow him on Twitter. So when he was making all these things about Twitter, I was not involved in that. I wasn't looking at it. I didn't really want anything to do with Twitter. And then here I am now. Let's read a statement from Trump's spokesperson. Crooked Joe, this is August 11, 2023. Crooked Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the entire Biden crime family have been protected by the Justice Department for decades, even though there is overwhelming evidence and credible testimony detailing their wrongdoing of lying to the American people and selling out the country to foreign enemies for the Biden cartel's own financial gains. If this special counsel is truly independent, even though he failed to bring proper charges after a 4-year investigation, and he appears to be trying to move the case to a more Democrat-friendly venue, he will quickly conclude that Joe Biden, his troubled son Hunter, and their enablers, including the media, which colluded with the 51 intelligence officials who knowingly misled the public about Hunter's laptop, should face the required consequences. And this is from DonaldJTrump.com in the news section. See if there's anything in the agenda, anything new, I should say. A lot of this gets posted to, and there's a lot of stuff that isn't posted here that is posted on his website. So that's why I have to check all of these. So generally, if not daily, the 4 places, if you want to keep up with these two guys, you want to go to donaldjtrump.com. You want to check him out on Truth Social. For Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you want to go to the 3 places for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You want to go to Kennedy24.com. That's the Kennedy website. And we're going to look at that next. And you want to go on YouTube, go to Kennedy24. That's their 24 campaign platform on YouTube. And then you want to also go to Twitter, to X, and you want to follow Robert F. Kennedy there. So doing all 3 of those, you shouldn't miss anything. So all these 5 things, these 6 places, you should not miss anything that these 2 candidates are covering here. So I don't think there's anything else on donaldjtrump.com. He should do more here. I feel like there should be a lot more that he does here. But let's see if there's anything in the issues. Yeah, not really too much news. I mean, with everything that he's having to deal with and try to run a presidential campaign and running it successfully, by the way, I think he's doing pretty good. Here. So, more stuff about Pence. We just heard about that. So I think that's all for that one. Let's go. What is this? No, I don't want to boost my security. I'm good right now. Let's go and see what is happening on Twitter with RFK Jr. See what he's posting here. What does he have new that is going on? About 5 hours ago, Cornel West. Oh, please leave that alone. Big Pharma. That was good. I really liked that one. I really like this clip there. It's a good clip. It talks about the fires. Oh, this was good. Hawaii fires result from poor tending of the land. First, industrial agriculture plantations obliterated native ecosystems. When these farms were abandoned, combustible invasive grasses took over. All right. Lots of good stuff on that. Let's see. America's now a zombie state. So not too much new happening over there. He did a roundtable. Oh, no, it's coming up. Okay, I didn't miss this roundtable. Virtual roundtable on censorship. That is going to be August 17th. And that's definitely going to be good. So there's also a lot of things that can't be covered in certain places like YouTube, but they can be covered at places here like Twitter. So I think that's all I wanted to cover there. So maybe not too much happening anywhere. Yeah, I think that's about it. Nothing more I can think of. Covered all of the different areas. Maybe let's go to Kennedy24.com, see if there's anything new here. So you want to look at the interviews, the news coverage, and the press, and then videos too. But those are the main things. So the latest interviews, if you want to see the latest interviews there. Kennedy wants to unite nation as father, uncle did. Something in Spanish. This was a good one. RFK Jr. and Dr. Hyman discuss corruption, freedom, and chronic disease epidemic in America. So those are great ones to go through for his interviews. Then under the news coverage, always some good stuff here. The latest one is from the Breitbart. Kennedy says climate change activist skeptics can unite against Hawaii fires. From the Nantucket Current, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visits Nantucket for campaign fundraiser. Okay, and then given history, RFK Jr. merits Secret Service protection. That was a great one too, because yeah, he does. He needs it. But just reading about the Nantucket fundraiser, just a little bit here. RF Kennedy Jr. was on Nantucket Thursday evening for a campaign fundraiser as the controversial Democratic candidate continues his effort to challenge Joe Biden for the party's nomination ahead of the 2024 presidential election. We need to unravel the empire, Kennedy said, referring to the United States budget. Stop building billion-dollar stealth bombers that can't fly in the rain and spend that money instead building schools for our kids and pay the teachers and make sure we can educate our children. There's a great letter. I hope there's a video of it somewhere. Maybe not. Looks like a lot of good quotes, so I will have to go and pull some of those quotes. And looks like a nice little fundraiser there, but nothing, no video. Okay. So let me go back then and let's look at the press and see if there's anything new in the press. Oh, this was an interesting one. This is from August 10th here. Presidential hopeful shot dead in Ecuador. Kucinich calls on Biden to order Secret Service protection for RFK Jr. So what happened in Ecuador is a presidential hopeful was shot killed, and it just brings us back to RFK Jr., making sure that he is protected in this nation as he runs for president. And given the circumstances of his family, I think that that by itself should warrant it. I think at some point they will. It should happen, but hopefully they don't try to take him out before that. So that's about it for this one. There is maybe one other short little short that I'm going to play, and then that will do it here.
I consider myself a traditional Kennedy liberal. I don't know any of the values that my uncle John Kennedy harbored or my father shared that I don't share. They had antipathy and suspicion of war and the military-industrial complex. They did not want corporations running the American government. They were completely against censorship. They were against the use of fear as a governing. And you go down the list of the things that they believe in, and I don't think that there's really any daylight between me and what they believe. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And there it is. So thank you all. Hope you have a great Sunday, and we'll come back again. I'm going to get back into some more writing for this book. And really looking forward to seeing how all of this pans out with just some very interesting circumstances leading up to the 2024 presidential primaries. Not even talking about the presidential election, but just the primaries. Primaries things are really going to heat up around January into May. It's going to get crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff happening. So watch for the bait and switches. Watch for the false flags as usual. Watch for the same usual suspects to do the same usual crime, corruption, and all these crazy things. And until then, God bless you all.